Well, hello there.
What's up, my friend?
Well, let's see. I'm awake. That's good. I'm upright.
All right. It's really what matters.
We got a show to go.
Yes, we do.
We actually have a guest tonight, which is exciting.
Yes, always good.
Yeah, always good. Good member of the community. Had moved away. Friend of mine from class of '86.
Okay.
Timely. He is of the Jewish community, so we certainly are glad to have him. We'll talk more about Robert Kaiser coming up shortly.
All right.
Interesting week at the town council meeting. I don't know what how do we want to frame this? Do we want to jump into this thing? Do we want to educate? Do we think we need to?
Yeah, give a brief rundown. Then we're gonna basically put some idiots out there for everyone to see.
Yeah, and then just for the record, everybody watching, yes, Scott's ornery tonight, so this is going to be exciting. Yeah. So, and I can't say I blame him, even though I don't know what's on his mind. So the flag policy.
Yeah.
The flag policy. The one we had said, this is going to come back to haunt you when the council voted unanimously 9-0 in support of passing this. I had some conversations post-meeting with Rob and with Jim about their votes.
Rob DeMarco, Jim Lettieri.
Yeah, because I didn't at the time and know now their hearts weren't really in that. And so here we are. But what was, there was now, and to me, this was kind of, there was an event, right? We know that some idiot Zoom bombed, not sure. This is some new thing where they're sitting there waiting or dial in at a certain time, punch their mic on, punch their camera on, up pops a masked man that I couldn't see because I was in the middle of giving my second public comment. And behind him apparently was a Nazi flag, and he yelled some terrible language words, anti-Semitic words, and was cut off, and the rest of the meeting was kept off of Zoom. And I don't know, that's going to have an impact on Zoom going forward as well. So that's going to be interesting. How that plays out, because that's kind of, there are already people, just as a side note, on the council that aren't fans of Zoom, and this is going to make that more of a challenge to get.
It's an anomaly. It's an anomaly. Hasn't happened before.
No.
They have to consider the topic that they brought upon themselves. They brought this upon themselves. They can't point their finger. Okay, the idiot, the asshole that did that, that's one thing. But that idiot asshole wouldn't have had a choice, an option, if the town council didn't bring this on themselves by trying to virtue signal a pride flag, which is what this was all about to begin with. They could care less about anything else. This was all brought about to virtue signal for the pride flag, right? So we warned them, and we warned them, and we warned them that this is going to come back to haunt you, and it did in a big way, because I heard about it down in Florida. So Winthrop made national news thanks to the Winthrop Town Council and all their liberal virtue signaling, because that's what it was. This was all brought upon by them, and them wanting to find any excuse to fly a pride flag. That's what it's. That's my take on it.
Yeah, and we'll kind of break down the meeting shortly when we bring Robert on. But a couple things happened locally, not in response. So last night, this is a good thing that happened last night. We had the Hanukkah lighting down at the Highlands, and I gotta tell you that the shamash, the middle piece, and all the candeliers that go up the side, all lit up in white, and they actually had real flames on top.
Wow.
Last night it was, tonight it was just the lights again, the orange lights, but last night. Anyway, Jeff Turco made some remarks. Lydia Edwards made some remarks. There was a good crowd there. I think all the counselors were there. I mean, I didn't see a couple, but that doesn't mean they weren't there. I wasn't necessarily looking for them. But here's a couple things now to kind of be Debbie Downer a little bit. we want to talk about there's the Be Kind Brigade, as we call them, the Be Kind Brigade, as they've been labeled by a friend, and I've coined the phrase since. Last night, Lydia Edwards was introduced, and I knew you could see where the Be Kind Brigade was huddled, and there was a very audible and obvious roar and hoo-hoo for Lydia. When Jeff came on, there was no such hoo-hoo except, from a few people near me and me, especially when Jeff did what Lydia didn't do, which was thank the police for being here to protect and support the Jewish community.
They don't care about that.
No. And here it is. Okay, so this is where I'm a little warm, and I'm going to bring the temperature down because I want to maintain control. But if you are the state senator, and even if in your heart, you don't like Winthrop, you don't like the police, you don't, whatever, don't you pretend and comment.
Well, she's a good liar to begin with, so we know she can lie.
Her speech did not even mention the Jewish community.
No, they won't. They won't do it. The town council meeting proves that they will not support this. They are running rings and circles, and they're back talking, and they're trying to play a shell game with words and flags, but the bottom line is they don't support it. They don't support the Jewish community. This shouldn't even be a discussion.
Well,
but John Dunce, emphasis on Dunce, said it 2 weeks ago that 24 people of the gay community felt threatened, and they wanted their flag flown. So I felt that we should make them feel welcome, and we fly it. That's 24 people.
By the way, they weren't all members of the LBGT.
So there you go, even less, right?
It was, yeah.
Dunson, he said 24 people want to make it, so we flew their flag. And there's thousands of Jewish people in Winthrop.
I want to make this clear because I was obviously during the election labeled the anti-this, the anti-that. Yeah. This tonight's going to get parsed and divided about that whole thing. I don't want that to be necessarily about that. No. But I do want to say this. I don't need to brag or boast or virtue signal about the people in my life I support. So I wanted to start this conversation with that, and I forgot. So thank you for reminding me.
Yes.
My friend Robert, who's coming on the show tonight, was my friend in high school. We weren't best buds. We had different paths, but he'll attest to this when he comes on, I'm sure. Him and I never had a problem ever. I had problems with nobody. The people I chose to have in my life, I chose to have with them as if I were blind, because it's what I felt in here after I met them and talked to them. Could I trust them? Were they someone that aligned with me in terms of how they see, human life, families, freedom, those kind of things? Yeah, I guess it's your worldview. But, if they disagree with me, it's okay. Are they going to try to force their views on me? Those things are important to me. That's how I choose my friends. Ever since the progressives have moved here, and you can follow the timeline in local elections, Jeff Turco's election or campaign against Peter Gill, the first one, was the nastiest election I had ever seen in Winthrop.
Up until this one.
Up until mine. Seriously. And there were a few in between, but they get worse and worse. And it's no surprise that we've become more and more progressive. It's what it is. So the point I'm getting at, the 6 counselors, and you know who you are. You're the only ones that talk about groups. You're the only ones that see things through a certain lens. You're the only ones that go out of your way to make sure not to offend only certain groups.
Yep. Well, that's part of the agenda.
People have a right. There are people, and I've said this before, I'm not one of them, but actually, that's not true. I am offended by the Progress Pride flag. I will say it. I've said it before. I'll say it again.
I am too.
That flag is offensive. I've already given my reasons. And if anyone sincerely cares about why, you can see me in person around town and ask me.
You know what I call it? It's a false flag.
It absolutely is. It's
a false flag.
It breaks everybody up into groups.
Listen, the pride flag, the old school pride flag, no problem with that. Beautiful flag. Beautiful flag. But the narcissists decided they all needed their own stripe. Right? And how do you stop them? It's like letting a vampire in your house. You invite a vampire in, they're always going to come back. You give these people an inch, and now they want every stripe on the flag needs to represent something. The old school pride flag was a beautiful flag. No one had any problem with it like this one. It's not divisive. But so what I was thinking, and let's bring Robert on first, because we have a lot of video to break down later on from the town council meeting, and I don't want Robert sitting in there in the green room waiting and watching us dissect these idiots on the town council. You know,
filet mignon.
Yeah, filet mignon. Yeah. So let's. You want to introduce him?
Yeah. So Robert Kaiser, class of 1986. I honestly I can't remember whether he was like top 5. I'm pretty sure he was.
All
You
right.
had Robert Coker, Paul Lyons, Craig Miles, Robert Kaiser. Like, these were the guys that, when you're talking about bringing up the average, there's people that bring down the average, and then there's people that bring up the average. These are the guys that bring up the average.
All right.
So yeah, scientific guy, great guy, fun guy, back to the community and wants to be more active. Let's bring him on. Hey. Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you, my friend. I am so touched by the way you described me. You're calling me a fun guy, and like, I'm sitting here with my cat right now. So
I got 2 cats. I have 2 cats. Robert doesn't. I know what you. That's not a problem.
Not for Scott.
I'm out here in public, and everybody can see me partying with my 19-year-old cat tonight.
All right.
There's that.
Yeah. So Robert, we wanted to have you on because, as you probably heard us talking about, and as you've heard me talking, we've talked about recently, not here on the show, we had an anti-Semitic act. And I want to go on the record as saying, in all honesty, you actually have a kind of a different perspective on this. I'm, quite frankly, let's just say, I blame the current flag policy for this type of stuff. In other words, if we didn't have the current flag policy in place, Mr. Dope there, who made his dumb comments, wouldn't have had the opportunity or the want to do what he did.
That's right.
But just from a 30,000 foot view, why don't you give us in the audience your perspective on the current flag policy, how you understand it? If you need me to explain it, happy to. But we'd like to get your perspective there to kick this off.
Well, thanks very much for giving me a moment. Like, my opinion means anything to some folks, but I do have a perspective because my dad, George Kaiser of Winthrop, and my mom and my dad, my parents, didn't talk to me about politics. They spoke about politicians here and there, but I grew up a little bit naive, but also a little bit maybe raised right. I didn't know about political parties. We just would vote for the person, and we never saw any of our neighbors, whether they were Jewish or Gentile or Democratic or Libertarian or Republican, as being of something other or different or bad. There were things I know I missed growing up. There were probably some tensions. Some people disagreed with each other about stuff. But I know, because I followed liberal Tip O'Neill and conservative Ronald Reagan, these guys disagreed with each other a lot. But they would also get together and have dinner. They would get together and have a drink. They would get together. They would bust each other's balls and say ethnic jokes about each other's mums, and they could find a way to make things work. And so I saw that growing up, and my dad and mom raised me that way. My rabbi, Chaim Friedman of blessed memory in the Temple Tifereth Israel, all those years back, they never were polarized. And they taught people to see the man, see the person for what they are. And I also want to say that I've heard you described as conservative, and in today's polarized society, like, you're conservative, he's liberal, I was liberal, I'm centrist, whatever. But the ideals that I hear you speaking are the same ideals I grew up hearing as liberal, just treating folks, with the same kind of common decency. So a lot of these words are being misused. Like, when I get together with you, when I read what you're writing, when I hear what you're saying, and see who you support and care about, if you didn't use certain words in 1992, that would have been liberal, and today it's conservative. So it's just really strange to see everything being turned upside down. I go to Harvard University, as you've heard about in the
Oh, here
newspaper,
we go.
and the Gestapo over there is on the side of Iran, the Hamas, Hezbollah, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, when 20 years ago, they were the ones saying, ethnically cleanse the Christians, kill the Christians, ethnically cleanse the Jews, kill the women, kill the gays. And now they're the progressives. What? So I don't even know what other people were thinking. And that's why when I was looking at this flag policy thing, I lived in New York for a while. And I was a teacher there. I was a teacher in New Hampshire, then Massachusetts. And what I saw even 25 years ago was that radicals were infiltrating basically civil rights groups and social justice groups that had a close place in my heart, that I thought they saw real problems and wanted to come up with real ways to address them. They'd be like, well, there's economic disparities, and why are some people earning $1 million a year and others only $20,000 a year? Free Palestine. Wait, what? And it would be exactly like that. And then there would be things like, how can we improve the state of, this is close to me, science education? Well, maybe there's too many Jewish teachers in the school. Wait, what? Hey, didn't like Himmler and Goebbels and Goering say that, like 1934 Germany? And it was just being bombed into every student group on college campuses. And I remember 25 years ago, I was a registered Democrat, liberal, progressive feminist, and I was worried because I am watching people saying, hey, I'm a feminist. Let's go hang out with this group that will oppress and maybe kill women. Like that didn't really sit right with me. So I've seen this coming for a long time. And I do have a pattern because I spent a lot of time living in New Hampshire. They live free or die state. There are liberals there, but they're not so radical. Conservatives, but more like old-fashioned conservatives. And all my liberal friends who were over 40 years old were like you and were like me. And they're like, something's wrong. Something's not going right. There were basically feminist authors and liberal authors who started being called fascists and Nazis. I'm like, it's really beginning to creep me out. So this flag policy came from people who I agree with. I agree with including all people. But once you open a door, other people are just sitting there with a monkey wrench waiting to come through that door and take advantage of, like, the 90% of folks in Winthrop who are good won't even know that somebody else is going to start screwing with them, even for a policy that's meant to do something good, decent, warm, and that I like.
Well, and quickly for some context, so for people watching, the flag policy states, as written, and of course I'm paraphrasing, that by proclamation, any town councilor or the town manager can fly any flag they want for a period of 2 weeks. They've made claims that it has to be tied to something national, like national holidays or whatever. No offense to the pride flag. Plenty of offense to the Progress Pride flag. That's not a national anything. It's not a national holiday. It's not a national event. There are lots of cities that have stopped it because the factions, the older dogs of the LGBT movement, don't accept the rest of the alphabet that's added to it. Not that they don't accept it, but they don't. They in private circles say it's gone too far. But the point being, it says that the word sentiment is cited in the flag policy, so it's basically left up to the whims of this council. And this council has and by the way, they say they don't take requests, yet they've taken a request here and there, I guess. They've had 5 proclamations made, 4 passed, 3 unanimously, 1 with 1 dissension. But they couldn't even take a vote. This is where I got angry. And when I asked the proclamation be made, I'm going to be transparent, Robert. Yes, it was to flush out the flaws of this. I'm St. John the Baptist, the curmudgeonly Baptist prophet who, said, come on, wake up, wake up. That's the point I'm trying to make. This flag policy has holes. When you and I and Scott are dead and gone, who knows who's going to be on that council and what flags they're going to be talking about flying. It's going to be left up to the whims of as I call them, the 9 wise ones. So not to cut you off, but I just wanted to add some context there. And I think you had, correct me if I'm wrong, Robert, but I think you had said during this process that you weren't necessarily in favor of flying nations' flags on our town lawns. Did I hear you say that?
Yes. Well, see, this is something very subtle, and subtlety goes right out the window nowadays with everything and anything. So I'm going to offer an opinion I've heard from a lot of people in the Jewish community, and I'm hoping people who are not Jewish or people who are extremely left-wing or right-wing will just take a moment to listen. There is some truth to the idea that when you fly an Israeli flag, it's the flag of the state of Israel, so it sounds like you're supporting Israel. And then people would assume, hey, if I flew the flag of Israel, that means I hate the enemies of Israel. And then they go on. Oh, so if Hamas is attacking Israel and Hamas is Arab, then you hate Arabs and you hate Muslims. The problem with that line of thinking is it's actually not logical. A statement A doesn't lead to statement B. Most of my friends are in the Reform Jewish community, conservative Jewish community. Some are neo-Hasidic or modern Orthodox, and close to none of them feel that way. They think that if you support Jewish people in Israel or in America, that doesn't mean you hate the Muslims or Hindus or Buddhists or Confucianists or Taoists. In fact, by and large, the communities I've been in, the synagogues, the Chavarot, the Jewish learning groups, they've been remarkable. I know a group of people, I'm in a learning community with several people who will learn from texts from different religions and different philosophers. And they're very much interested in peace with Egypt, with the United Arab Emirates, with Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and if possible, hopefully more Palestinians. So people think you fly this flag, it means you hate that group. But it don't. If you say Black Lives Matter, it doesn't mean you hate white people. If you say I support my gay and lesbian friends, it doesn't mean you hate straight people. If you say I support Jews who feel persecuted all across the world, doesn't mean you hate Palestinians. And this is where it becomes scary, hurtful, and even terrifying. When somebody comes out and says, F the Jews, F the kikes, I want to hurt these people, a Jewish person might reasonably say, would you show allyship? Would I be safe in your town? Would I be protected? And the response should be like everybody else. If that happened to people of any other minority group, most towns are like, of course, allyship, friendship, we support you. But the moment a Jewish person says, would you show allyship to me? The response is, but Islamophobia. What?
So can I interrupt there for a second?
No one does that for any other group, ever.
So the gay community in Winthrop, the small percentage of them that wanted the pride flag flown, they would say how afraid they are in Winthrop, right? Just like you just said about the Jewish community, the threats, right? The anti-Semitism, the homophobia, right? That was the basis of them wanting to feel safe. We want a flag. Fly our flag. Let us feel safe in this town. John Dunson said it right at the meeting. Oh, they felt threatened. They felt scared. We wanted to make them feel welcome. So we fly their flag. So now you have Jewish people in the community that are basically stating the same sentiment. They're afraid. Where's our support? And there's people saying, let's fly the flag. And all of a sudden, and every one of those people on that board, 6 out of 9 are absolute leftist liberals. And I'm not making this up. They are leftist liberals. They will not. They hem and they haw. And like I said at the beginning of the show, They talk circles, they back talk, they play a shell game. You'll see in the video later on John Dunson saying, oh, we should fly the Irish flag, but fly. And he just does a lot of jibber jabber, right?
Word salad.
Yeah, word salad. Now, a little background. You said something that I absolutely relate to. I was the only liberal Democrat in my family. 9 years ago, I walked away because I saw what you saw. Now, maybe you saw it before me, but I saw what you saw. My brother said to me, you're a Tip O'Neill Democrat. They don't exist anymore. He said, that's a dying breed. And anybody over 50 that is still hanging on to that liberal idealism that they grew up with is basically wasting their time. But that's a whole nother conversation for another time, right? So what you just expressed, the
I have
sentiment,
some notes on that, by the way.
What's that?
I have some notes I took on that topic, by the way.
Oh,
so great to have another podcast on that.
We will, absolutely. We will.
Yeah, well, this is good.
Yeah, I have a funny feeling you'll be on again, my friend. So this whole flag policy was basically, like I said, it was thrown up as a virtue signal for the pride flag, and then they decide they're gonna make theirs a little funkier than everybody else's, and now the rubber has hit the road. Where's the support for the Jewish community, right? So somebody commented on one of my posts on Facebook from Winthrop saying the Israeli flag doesn't represent all Jewish people. Okay. Then they threw in the Zionist. They threw in, all the key words. Zionist flag, right? Well, you know what? The pride flag doesn't represent all gay people either. Einstein. Whoever the Einstein was. Doesn't represent the pride, all the gay people either, but they still fly it. So tell me the difference. Tell me the difference between why Winthrop would fly the pride flag, but is hemming and hawing and hesitating, scared to death to fly the Israeli flag. Because what is most of what we're seeing in the country today that are all backing the Palestinians? Liberals.
There's another flag that isn't being mentioned, and I realize now I should have coordinated with you guys for the tech purposes of this a little bit earlier, because I put together something on my own blog, something that I believe in. Maybe I'm a Tip O'Neill Democrat. I don't want to start a fight. I like Joe Biden. I like Pete Buttigieg.
He's not on our town council, so we don't really care about him.
Well, right. So I like liberal ideas. For me, and I know I talk with like footnotes and asterisks. Sometimes I will try to differentiate between liberal and leftist. And as we've gotten older, I think social media has been used as a hack to make us polarize. I think a lot of people who were conservative have become more right. A lot of people who were liberal have become more left. A lot of moderate libertarians don't have a good, strong, moderate libertarian community, and they're pulled more towards the strict purity test of Ayn Rand, who's really strict along that axis. But we could be getting along as liberals, conservatives, and libertarians, but we're being pulled to these extreme positions. So tying that to the flag, if they want to be liberal, I can tell you for a fact right now, I and my friends in Reform, conservative, and modern Orthodox communities support Islamic communities in America, the Middle East, and across the world. What we're confused about is the total silence about Islamic communities. If you really think Islamophobia is a problem, why is there almost complete silence about the genocide of Uyghur Muslims right now in China, about the ethnic cleansing and imprisonment of almost 1 million Muslims in China's Xinjiang internment camps?
Absolutely.
Under Assad in Syria, massacre, tens of thousands, 50,000 Muslims, complete silence, literal legal apartheid against Palestinian Muslims in Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria, where they don't even allow Palestinians to live in certain neighborhoods or cities or get most types of jobs. How about the oppression and murder of Rohingya Muslims in Myanmar by the Buddhist majority? They're completely silent. 90% of the people who talk about Islamophobia never say a damn word when Muslims are killed by the thousands or hundreds of thousands or have a million of them being put in internment camps. They don't care about
You know why, Robert? That's the perfect example of virtue signaling.
That's right, because
that's exactly what you just described, virtue
terrible.
signaling. Hey, I want to put a Ukrainian flag in front of my house. Look at me. Look at me. It's all narcissistic behavior, right?
What?
I love the Black Lives Matter. I put it in front of my house, right? Look at me. Look at me. It's all virtue signaling.
Yeah, I
Everything
support
on
Black
that
Lives
board
Matter,
was.
but I support all those other groups, and I know from the complete silence there's a problem.
Absolutely.
None of those other groups ever get mentioned.
They have they're masterful at ignoring things. They're masterful.
If they were sincere, why the silence?
Virtue signaling is not sincere.
Let's not forget. Okay, so let me ask you, Robert. You're a well-read man, but I'm not sure if you've ever been a politically well-read man. Have you read Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals?
No, I've only heard of them, never read them.
So I've been told not to bring this book up because it has a negative connotation. And let me provide some general context. And Scott is familiar with this part of the story. I was also told that the Gadsden flag is a racist flag. It has negative connotations now.
Is that the one with "Don't Tread on Me"?
Yes.
With the snake, yeah.
Yes.
We grew up in a Dalrymple school. That was one of the American flags.
Yes.
Bingo. And
thank you for that. That's a great point. Thank you.
That's right. And you probably know this, Robert, better than anybody because you're very well read on history. This was the first flag of they weren't called the Marines, but they were the Navy, if you will, of the Revolutionary War.
That's right.
And the Tea Party revolutionists. So if any flag should be flown and is not a racist flag on the 4th of July, it should be the Gadsden flag. But this collection of know-it-all, overeducated, academic blowhards, sorry they are, they are so smart and so right and so woke
righteous.
Right? That's really, it's about power and control. So I had a one-on-one conversation with John Munson about this actual flag policy. We were having a heated discussion. And no, not about the flag policy, excuse me, about the Ordinance Review Committee. I was on that committee appointed by Jim Lettieri. We were making changes to the charter. I don't want to belabor the point, but one of the big changes was shrinking the size of the council and changing it all to at large, because most people who run live in precinct 2, precinct 5. I mean, we're not getting enough action from people in other precincts. So the same people keep running and winning unopposed, right? Anyway, I didn't necessarily want it to be, I actually wanted it to be in the charter, but all we were doing was putting it out for the people to decide. John didn't want the people to decide. He's like, representative government. Okay. My pushback was, but this is about the government that is of, for, and by us. I think in this case, you have to go with the spirit of limited government and what our founding fathers believed. Let the people decide. All that really doesn't matter, because what I said to John, I said, John, sounds to me like you don't trust the electorate. He goes, you do? And I knew all I needed to know right then and there about these overly educated. I went to Michigan, I went to Harvard and got my PhD. I don't care. It's not Robert. What impresses me is what you're doing right now. You're sitting here with what some would call the enemy, because and you're having an intelligent conversation, which I couldn't hold a candle to your SAT score, but I feel like we're engaging. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Well, I've got more hair than your friends, so I feel like I'm very in a good position here.
He's the smartest one here. Right. He's the smartest one here. No, grass doesn't grow on a busy street.
That's right. Hey, Robert, can I ask you a question?
Please.
Do you think they should fly the Israeli flag?
I thought about this, and here's my real answer. If they were willing to fly flags for groups that are hurt, scared, traumatized, and persecuted, and they were willing to take a look and make sure, hey, let's make sure we're not being manipulated by the Nazis. Let's make sure we're not being manipulated by Islamic fundamentalists. Then yes, 100%, absolutely. In an ideal world where people try to be chill and try to get along with each other, I completely support the idea of flying the Israeli flag, the Black Lives
It's
Matter
only
flag.
for 2 weeks. It's only for 2 weeks.
Right. The problem is they never fly it for any other oppressed groups, except they usually pick at any given time
It's only the
two
pride flag.
groups du jour that are good and right and righteous, and everybody else can go screw themselves. And
Yes.
that's not liberal.
No.
Real liberals
Oh,
should be
they
against.
do not fit the definition of liberal. I just posted that the other day. The definition of liberal is not what they are. That's for damn sure.
I completely support most of these groups that are social justice groups and liberal, except I was kicked out of several of them when I was told, we're glad to have you, but you have to say Israel has no right to exist.
You have to assimilate the Borg. You have to
What does that
assimilate.
have to do with, getting good jobs or having better policies to prevent innocent people from going to jail or
Yeah. You know the song
anything usually.
the song by Rush, Subdivision, right? One of the lines is "Be cool or be cast out." That's it,
Well,
right?
I
And
would
it's just
put
that's
this
what the liberal community is. Do not go against the grain, or you're out.
What about communist China? They were not liberal, they were communist. And how did we know they were going down the wrong path? I mean, the first, a communist is the most amazing person in the world for the first 2 minutes. Is it freedom for everybody, equality for everybody, until they keep talking. And then you start seeing these photographs from history books. And all my professors, by the way, were liberals in the 1980s and 90s.
Mm.
And they were showing us photographs from China showing during the Cultural Revolution, if you had wrongthink, that's a word, they would put you in front of the school, make you wear a dunce cap in front of thousands of people, and punch you and hit you and make you lose your job. And they would have your parents turn against you until you apologize. And
You were
cry in
canceled.
public.
You were canceled.
And that's not, I had liberal and progressive and feminist teachers, and they're like, that's how you know when things are going wrong.
Oh, guess what?
Yeah. So that
We're
shouldn't be
there.
happening now.
We're
We're
there.
on the fringe. We're on the fringe of it.
It happens in other groups too. I mean, I didn't vote for certain right-wing politicians because I'm afraid of the groupthink going on in certain other communities. And every time I listen to a libertarian, there's a whole comedy act about this. I should have forwarded it to you. Libertarians are the smartest people ever until they keep talking. It's like, why should we have so many controls over where we can live? Why should we have so much control over taxes? Why can't we let 8-year-olds work in coal mines? It's like, oh, okay. And, it's every one of these groups, if they keep talking, because they're only talking to themselves in echo chambers.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I supported Todd during the recent election is because he's a member, whether he knows it or not, of the beer party and the pizza party. It's a party of people who are like, even if I disagree with you, I'll sit down with you in public. We'll have a beer, we'll have a pizza, we'll have a pretzel, and you can talk stuff out. That's where solutions are built. That's where communities are. That's where love comes.
Sorry, Robert, didn't mean to cut you off. Did you know that I was verbally assaulted at the bridge when I was standing out? To make a long story short, it was a scary moment, but I actually sat down and had coffee with the guy after the election. That is, what I'm getting at is you hit the nail. That's who I am. As much as I might not back down from you, and I mean, if you cross me, I will
defend yourself.
I will defend myself. That's what I do, but I'm not going to start. I don't start trouble. But I think I see Sema.
Huh?
You do.
I Sema. Anywho, I okay.
Love the drop-ins.
Yeah. My wife was dropping and taking the dog. I was
the drop-ins. Yeah, every once in a while there's a drop-in.
Podcasting live
streaming.
Something else. So, let me. Here's a real. You didn't know this, Scott. I don't think you did. I don't think either of you knew this, but probably wouldn't. So apparently, Lydia Edwards, and I would hope she will clarify this statement. She definitely made a statement like this, so I'm not quoting her, but was at the senior center questioning why Winthrop has a hard time with flags. Again, I'm paraphrasing. So I'd welcome her to A, tell us why she's getting involved in our business, B, what the context of the conversation was, and see what she meant or what she was trying to get at with what, because we have been called a racist. We have been called a racist town. I think the implication there is racism. She has written during the election, she got involved and wrote a letter to the town about supporting my opponent and not me with my right. She didn't use these words, but she said right wing agenda. She basically characterized me as a right wing nut. I think, Robert, unsolicited, you put you basically pissed all over that fire. But the fact of the matter is, she's awfully involved. And so I'm hoping at some point someone will help us understand why and what she was talking about.
You'll never get anything out of her. Never get anything. She's a politician. She's a politician. She talks just to talk, right? And she's divisive. She's divisive. So well, it is what it is. We're never going to change her.
I just wanted to say I saw, starting 3 years ago, a very tiny number of people, including a bunch of people who are not from Winthrop, come here, move here, and start saying that Winthrop's a racist town. And a lot of people rallied around them. And the thing is, the people that rallied around them were not racist. They wanted to show that Winthrop wasn't racist. But every time a group of people would say, hey, we're rallying around you, we're not racist, they would get more people to join their group and say, that's right, we're not racist, we're against racist. And at no point did any of them notice, oh, I'm with a whole bunch of growing group of people and none of us are promoting racism. So
what's that? That's the mob mentality, right? It's mob mentality. It spreads like a virus.
Against racism,
right?
But
they lose focus. The more people they lose focus.
These are good people.
Yeah.
If there's a fire in town, my favorite politician or yours ain't going to come to us and help out with the house. Our favorite politicians aren't going to come to us and help us if, our uncle or our mother gets sick. It's folks nearby. And those used to be called conservative family values, and they're also liberal values. And it's something we can all share. And I've been trying to fight my own inner demons because I remember 6 years ago, I was a lot more politically polarized for right reasons, for good reasons. I mean, I can tell you why I was so polarized. And so, but I was angry. I wanted to do the right thing. I did do the right thing, I think, and for liberal groups. But I felt good about feeling right. And that's a poison worse than any alcohol, heroin.
Absolutely.
Dopamine. It's dopamine.
Dopamine. Yep. Oh my God. When you feel good about being right, and you can be right, it still is too dangerously intoxicating.
But when you are right and you have hate in you, that's the bad that's the poison combination. When there's hate along with you being right,
as bad as the dopamine in your head.
Right. That's the combination that makes it. I mean, okay, there's other times when you're right and it's not about a political subject, and you don't have that. You don't have that effect. Maybe in a sporting event, the Patriots versus whoever in the Super Bowl, right? But you don't have the hate that you do when you were in a political situation, a conversation.
I never got mad over who had a car that was, manual drive versus, stick versus automatic. But somehow for some of these issues, people would get at each other's throats.
Because the mob mentality gets you going. It gets people worked up. But either way, so in the end, the flag policy, they still haven't decided on anything. And I liked what you said. I think you and I, and Todd agrees with us, I'm sure. We see the issue that the town council is having, and I think we just laid it out for them that the reason they flew the pride flag is the same reason they need to fly the Israeli flag. If they're going to use those, we want to make you feel welcome. We want to make you feel safe. We want to make you feel, loved by Winthrop as a community, the gay community. Well, guess what? So I know I know a handful of Jewish people in Winthrop. My stepkids are Jewish. Their aunt and uncle. My stepson works at a Jewish school here in Boca Raton. He's a teacher. You don't think that they were scared? That school was upside down and inside out after that happened, right? Jewish people are scared. Now you'll get some that are like, they are hardcore liberals and they lean really far to the left. I say that's von Munchausen's. That's the Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
They're so absorbed by the Democratic Party and the liberal agenda that they will empathize with their captors, the ones that aren't supporting them. But with that said, I think they put themselves in a corner, and they're going to have to make a decision. And I think the best decision is let's just go back to the way it was.
Yeah, Todd was telling me about that. I mean, and some of the people at the town council, I was at the town council meeting a couple of weeks ago, and I spoke to them during the meeting and some of them after the meeting. I did happen to like what they were saying. They were pointing out a couple things, and because people were going back and forth, I saw some common ground that I don't think everybody else saw. A few of them were saying the problem is it's hard to put up a flag for anything without somebody else getting mad about that. And ideally that shouldn't be the case, but it is
the policy.
And until you can change people to be more chill about that, maybe we do need to change the policy and just have veteran flags, state, national, federal, town flags, and
American flag, state flag, POW flag. That's all. That's what they used to have, and then they got caught up. That
is,
yeah.
Robert, I can see the pain on your face, because your heart is so big, and that's a good thing, and it's an anchor sometimes, because sometimes not you, but people in general tend to suffer more fools when they're so empathetic and want to see the good in everything. You said the words, until we can change people. That's never, ever, wipe that out of your memory.
They don't want to be changed.
It ain't gonna happen. People are right. When you lean into a dog, I learned this from Scott. You lean into a dog pushes back. It's opposition resistance.
Opposition reflex, yeah.
If Scott tells me what to do, I'm not gonna do it because he told me to. If he asks me to do it, the ball game's different. You see what I'm saying?
But that's the difference between politics back in the 80s and before, and today's politics. Like you said, Robert,
well,
there's no more sitting down and having a drink together. It just doesn't exist.
Yes, and I need to say, my heart was so full after not a flag flying, but Winthrop had a public menorah event for the first time ever, and so many different people from different backgrounds came out, and they weren't just there to get free latkes and chocolate gelt, and they were there to show support. And I felt the love. And there were people there from different ethnic groups, social groups, religious groups. And I mean, to me, that's really what being a small New England town is all about. And it's the best of what any place in America could ever aspire to be. I rarely feel that level of joy, inclusion, optimism, and hope. Well, you know what? That's not true, because in the local houses of worship that I go to, I've gone to, synagogues, because, I'm Jewish and other folks go to other places. The synagogues that I go to are inclusive, whether you're gay or straight, whether you're black or white, whether, you're a Republican or a Democrat. And I know there are pockets all around Winthrop and all around America where this inclusion and love and support is happening. And I think the real day-to-day life of people is way better than newspapers and social media try to convince us it is. And it just makes us angry and foaming at the mouth. You walk outdoors, walk down the street and see your neighbors, and you're like, it's kind of okay. This is kind of a good life. Could be better, but this is a great town. It's a great country. And it's a hell of a lot better for most people than it was in 1870 or 1920. Our country's made. Show me another country in the world where there's that many differences that made that much progress. I
None.
can't think of one.
Not
Well,
even close.
I'm going to say this. Do not be surprised if the town council uses this menorah lighting as a, hey, look what we did for the Jewish community. What? Oh, somebody's going to try to play
but
it.
they didn't do it. It was the Shabbat. I'm sorry.
Well, they're going to, somebody will bring it up, say, well, they had the menorah lighting and, yada, yada, yada. That's support and yada. Oh, one of them is going to try to twist it in that way.
I got to correct you. The Shabbat is from Doctor Who. Chabad was the group that did this.
The Chabad, yes.
It was a group from Doctor Who.
Yeah. It wasn't. It was not.
We had a Doctor Who reference.
I waited all night to throw one in there.
I'm sure he could have.
I have to tell you this. Let's get way off subject. The female Doctor Who and beyond is not Doctor Who anymore. That died. That's dead. See you later. That series dead to me.
I'm sure Robert could have made.
We'll have a whole live stream on that, Robert.
I'm sure Robert could have made one of many science fiction references because he's probably like me. Star Wars, Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica.
Dead. By the way, dead and dead.
Yeah, Star Wars is ruined. Disney
dead. Star Trek dead.
Yeah.
Maybe, hey, Robert, how about if we have a pop culture live stream and just talk about pop culture?
Yeah, yeah, that'd be a good one.
By the way, I did not like Star Trek Discovery, but I do like Star Trek.
You mean STD? The STD?
Yeah.
The STD, that's what that was, buddy. That's what that was.
I wasn't a fan. All right, Robert, so what do you want everyone to know? Because we're about to kick you off.
Okay, what I want folks to know, I think people like me who like Biden can like and love people like you who like other people. I think
you can say Trump. You can say it. You can say it.
You could say.
You can say it, Robert.
Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley. All right.
I like Nikki Haley. But
say Ron DeSantis.
Ron DeSantis.
Yeah, I like Ron DeSantis from 3 years ago. That's another story. That's
Trump.
We gotta have him back on again. We gotta have him back on. Go ahead.
You're a good dude, Robert. You're a good dude, man.
I was just friends with a bunch of people who are liberals, progressives, and feminists, and they're seeing some of the same problems that you do. So it's because I know them and work with them, and in some cases have lived with them for several years. I know from personal experience that there's a whole bunch of people in this group who get along with people in this group. And that message isn't getting out there. This is a world where
there's a reason.
You can have a left wing, a right wing, and a libertarian rudder, and things can be okay. We just need you know what? Another time, another podcast. What's the role of social media and groups in creating division to make us all?
That's that's a minimum 3 hour live stream. That's minimum 3 hours.
Let's do it.
That's a long live stream, my friend. We'd be glad to entertain that, but that's going to be a long one. That's going to be a long one. Absolutely. It plays a major role. Absolutely. And so do the news networks. But again.
Yeah, in fact, I'm going to leave you with this, Robert. I encourage you to at least, I haven't read Saul Alinsky cover to cover. I've perused. I've looked at some people's notes. I've had discussions. A lot of it has happened. They've taken over the schools, et cetera, et cetera. They've infiltrated the schools, the Marxists. You saw the one at the meeting the other night, having the Palestinian flag. She's a Marxist. She carried a sign, Karl Marx is my daddy. She didn't have it that night, but
really? An actual Marxist?
Yeah.
During the whole 20
Annie Mahoney is her name.
I met a real Marxist 10 years ago, and
she's not a real Marxist. She's a poser.
I just wasn't. I just found it so difficult to believe that they took that seriously because all the
look at this
Marx was thrown in jail.
There's real Marxists, then there's posers. People that do it for reaction. They want to shake people up. They love getting the reaction because that's the only thing they have going for them in their lives. So she's a poser.
Watch the fall of Minnesota, by the way. I think your view of BLM and other things will change dramatically.
If that hasn't changed yet, then I don't know when it will.
There's groups
after
that
the
use
mansions and
that
the
are like wacky, and then there's groups that use these initials.
tax audits.
It's just like the internet.
The fall of Minneapolis. It's got the actual footage of the George Floyd arrest. The actual cop cam footage. It's not.
All right, Robert. Well, thank you very much, my friend.
Yes, Robert. Thank you.
This was we would definitely, if you're willing, have you back on, have more discussion. It's nice that somebody who doesn't see the same way maybe Todd and I see. Sometimes Todd and I don't see the same way, right? But it's good to have somebody come on and give their view respectfully, intelligently, and eloquently like you did. And we will definitely have you on again. We appreciate your time, truly, and happy Hanukkah, and have a wonderful 2024, and all that good stuff.
And I'll talk to you soon, brother.
And when I go up there, the next time I go up there, the three of us will go to coffee.
Yeah, we'll have coffee.
I'd like to talk to you more about Star Trek, Star Wars, and Doctor Who.
I'll throw in Babylon 5, but that's a whole other.
No, I have no problem with Babylon 5. That's right. That's okay. That's okay. All right, Robert, man. Thank you very much. Have a good night, my friend.
Take care, gentlemen.
All right, buddy.
Wow.
Good guest.
Good one. Went long. Good one.
Yeah.
I have gas unless you got stuff you got to do.
No. I got guests in my house that have been here for a week, so I'm really.
I thought you were trying to get rid of them.
Staying in my studio.
Oh, I got you. All right, good.
No, I love it. He's one of my dearest friends. Him and his wife. They listen. This is their home. When I go up there, their home is my home. I've known them for 50 years.
Oh, that's good.
It's got to mean something. You know what that is? That's having a friend that when they come to your house to visit, you can spend a couple of days with them, but the rest of the time is like, just do whatever you want.
Yep.
I'm not responsible for you. They're not a high maintenance guest.
I'm not here to entertain you.
They're not a high maintenance, guest. So that's the best kind of guest. Okay, so let's jump into this shit show.
Yep. 2 weeks ago, right? December 5th meeting.
Yeah. So let's see, what do we got?
Oh.
All right, we're gonna fast forward through some stuff.
Market. Nobody wants to move. Nobody wants to trade their 3%. 30. Was it just 655? Okay, state. But those.
So I just wanted to. This is some tough stuff. Okay. Anti-Semitism has affected my life in countless ways. My grandparents are Holocaust survivors, and what they went through is nothing like the books and movies that you see everywhere, and it has no modern equivalent. My family is still reeling from this trauma and from this loss. Additionally, my uncle, Cy, is a survivor of the Tree of Life shooting in Pittsburgh. He was pulling in late while the shooter was active inside and his friends were being killed. This is very real, violent anti-Semitism. This is real. Accusations of anti-Semitism against our council is not. Right? These are unfounded accusations, and in a way, it cheapens the very real experience that me and my family have had. As a Jewish person, and as an American, and as a resident of Winthrop, I am represented by the American flag that flies every day in this town. This is my homeland, and the Jewish community right here in Winthrop is so welcoming and kind. And I know they might disagree with me about this one, but I don't think we need to fly the Israeli flag here, because look at our country's beautiful flag. And if anyone feels like they need to do more to support the Jewish community here in Winthrop, I mean, like, look how cool we are. There's a Hanukkah party.
God, the guy behind to the left of Daniela Foley, that's the guy that unplugged the camera, so to speak.
Okay.
The 12th of December, there's a public menorah lighting at 6 p.m. at the Crest Ave Playground. It'd be really great. If an ancestor of yours was Jewish, you could enroll your kid in Hebrew school. I know that we do a really nice job. Or you can make a donation to Temple Tiphareth.
The girl to her right doesn't look too thrilled with her.
Please do not raise the flag of
That is Gus
That's what
Martucci's
this is
daughter,
about.
Suzanne
Okay.
Martucci, and she is definitely pro-Palestine.
I want
Yeah.
everyone to feel as welcome in Winthrop as I have. If anyone has any questions, feel free to speak to me one-on-one. I'm open to talk to literally anyone. So thank you so much for listening to me.
And everyone's smiling, and she just has that scowl.
Thank you.
Hear kind of sentiment in our hearts, and by having actions like conversations. Hi, Annie, I was your high school teacher. Hi.
Oh, did you skip past Annie Mahoney?
I think by
Lighting of the menorah.
That's John
various other
Munson's
things that are
father.
taking place.
we can find another way. I said this in my email to honor
Is that
all
her?
people who are
No,
suffering.
that's
That's all I'm
That's
saying.
her.
Free Palestine and end the occupation.
well, you got to back up a little.
She doesn't deserve anything.
Okay.
Any other public comments?
Karina
Yes.
Campobasso, Precinct 3. I hope you all got my email where I set out the
That
reasons
is
why
Gary
I
Scarmo's
believe
wife, but
flying
she,
the flag
modern woman,
of
she
any
won't take his last
nation
name.
Other than the United States. I just want to reiterate, I mean,
All right, I want to get to the.
Yep.
Referred over to you today. That was about it.
Yeah, like we did last year in January, February.
Yeah, we can.
You want John?
Which is part of the problem we need.
I'll get.
Perhaps you want Robert to read the proclamation. Here we go.
This is a proclamation of support and love for Winthrop's Jewish community. Whereas Winthrop has historically had a rich Jewish heritage and community. Whereas on October 7th,
wearing a
2023,
tie?
1,300 plus Jews were killed in a terrorist attack, the largest mass murder of Jews since the Holocaust. Whereas 32 of the Jews killed were American citizens. Whereas the town of Winthrop recognizes the importance of supporting the Jewish community and acknowledges that we must continue to work towards full equality for all members of the community. Whereas the town of Winthrop understands the impact of hate and discrimination all too well, as evidenced by the hate crime that occurred in our community on June 26th, 2021. Whereas the town of Winthrop understands the fear and sadness gripping the Jewish community the last 2 months. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Winthrop Town Council extends its support and love for our Jewish community and encourages all residents to join in the condemnation of all forms of hate and anti-Semitism.
We
urge
pulled the
our
flag
community
bit out.
to come together to support and uplift the Jewish community and to work together to create a more just, equitable, and inclusive society for all. At that point, I was going to make a motion to raise the Israeli flag for 3 days. It seems that, based on community input and my fellow counselors, we don't have the support to do that. So I'm just going to leave it at that proclamation and let the Jewish community.
Changing from a flag proclamation.
I don't know what's happening.
Celebrate the wide array of cultures here.
This one.
Proclamation. This is
All
a
right.
proclamation of support and love for
So
Winthrop.
he already knows that he already knows. They already talked. They didn't vote on anything. They already talked. He knows he's not going to get support.
Well,
They said
things.
they said that they're not going to do it.
correct. He read the room, and the people in the room, the community basically said no nation flags. They didn't say not the Jewish flag.
Right.
They said we just shouldn't be flying nation state flags, and they don't understand the policy. So, but he also, I'm sure one-on-one, he talked to the people to see where his votes were. He knew he wasn't getting the votes before he even did his homework.
Right.
He should have pushed it through anyway. I told him this, but anyway. Barbara's response is you might want to let that play.
Oh, she's an idiot. I don't care. She's an older woman. She's an idiot.
So you're not making a flag proclamation, is that what you're saying?
Correct. It's not a flag proclamation. It's a proclamation of love and support for the Jewish community that I would like all the counselors to agree to.
Okay, so
So then he just read it. What did
Is
he even
a-
do?
proclamation
Rob.
been made by
So-
Councilor
so-
DeMarco.
Jim's going to go on to say you can't change a proclamation. So then then Rob just says, well, all right, then I make a motion of love and support, and I'll look for a second.
Nah, he
Couldn't even get a second.
lost his balls. I hope you're watching, Rob. I really do hope you're watching. You're very, very disappointed, ridiculously disappointed that you just lost. You have no balls. I don't care at this point. He has no balls. Zero. And if you know him, tell him I said it too. I could give.
Is there discussion on?
I hate cowards.
Council Flockhart?
I don't deny that there was a horrible event on October 7th, and that it was comparable to what we went through on 9/11. And I certainly support, the terror that these people are feeling. However, I think this proclamation does not recognize that the pain and suffering that the Palestinian people are going through now.
Can we just say, though,
one-sided.
what Palestinian people showed up at that meeting? There were no Palestinians in that room that night.
She's a liberal.
Councilor Honan.
Oh, here we go. The queen of idiots.
I would like to second Councillor Flockhart's sentiments regarding Palestinian.
Glad she's leaving.
Victims as well. But I do have a statement I'd like to read. So instead of, this is something I proposed when I considered Councillor DeMarco's proposal to raise a flag. So if you'll excuse me for
Rob wants to call in. Let's get this one.
So instead of raising,
we're about to have a good fight on the air. Hold
on our
on.
municipal grounds during a time of
screw
extreme
him.
conflict.
No, her.
No, I'm talking. I'm pausing her.
Oh, yeah.
Rob, bring it. He must be drinking.
Oh, good God.
Turning the phone on. Let's get this connected. I'll even put the number up for this idiot. Put it right here. I'm going to put the number up for you.
Oh, what's happening? Did he call you?
No, he's going to. He says, I'll call in. He's like, bring it. He's getting all brave. He must be drinking, like I said.
Oh, I think he's laughing is what he's doing.
Whatever. I'll put it right up here. We get the phone hooked up.
Phony.
Let's see. All right, should be connected.
All right.
Oh, Rob, want to talk? You talk about how you back down. How you back down?
Yes.
Let's see.
Oh, here it is.
Hey, Rob. Nothing. Hold on. I got to make sure you get hooked up here. Hold on. Go to. Are you there?
Hey, Todd.
There you go.
Hi, Rob.
What's up, Rob?
Hey, sorry, I missed the first 20 minutes. I was watching the Corbomite maneuver from Star Trek. So.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We were just talking about that, too.
I know.
Dude.
That's why I said that.
Dude.
So, the first thing I should explain is why did I take the flag policy out? Which is clearly, Scott, what you're getting at.
Oh, I got right to it. I didn't hint around to anything, my friend.
So what I did is, yes, I did talk to the counselors to see what kind of votes I had beforehand, obviously. But I still planned at that point, despite what the counselors were saying, I still planned to put it to a vote. So I made the proclamation. I drew it up. My plan was to support the Jewish community. Then I talked to members from the temple, including Rabbi Ben. Okay? And I was talking to Rabbi Ben, and him and members of his congregation, not all, but a lot of them, were saying to me, you know what? We don't need the flag, but it's very important to get this message out. And Rabbi Ben was kind of on the same page where he was not really in on the flag. He was more, the message needs to get out. And he was very adamant that we don't need a flag for that. We need the message to come out. So now that I'm hearing this, I'm saying, all right, well, if I take the flag out of the equation, which is the controversial part, I figure I'm going to get a 9-0 vote. I did not expect the council not to vote for that once I took the flag off the table. I thought I'd get unanimous support. The Jewish community would be uplifted. Everybody would leave in a good mood, and that's what I thought. I was wrong.
Well, then, my friend, I will be a stand-up guy. I owe you an apology for my comments. I understand 100% what you're saying. They screwed you. They screwed you. They screwed you like I don't know. I probably or Todd could have told you they would do that. This is a different issue. They will not. They don't want to get. It's convoluted. But if that's the case, Rob, if that's the case, you gave me good context. I am man enough to say, I'm not even going to say I apologize. I'm sorry to you. See, there's a difference between saying I'm sorry and I apologize.
Well, I'll tell you what I won't do is the one thing, you know how sometimes you're put on the spot and you can't find the right words? Okay. When it comes to denouncing anti-Semitism and behavior like that, I will not, under any circumstance, say that I denounce anti-Semitism with this condition. Okay? There will never be any condition set to denounce anti-Semitism. And as a council, that's what upset me the other night is nobody wanted to say, I denounced this. It had to be with conditions. And that's, to me, I'm just going to leave it at that. That's all I'm going to say.
I know what you're saying, but so Rob, you heard from one person who kind of spoke for his congregation, but we just had somebody on. We had a Jewish member on of the Jewish community.
I was listening to Rob.
And he said, well, if you're going to fly one flag for that reason, then fly the other flag. This is about the policy. This is not, see, everyone's losing sight of this. It's not about supporting Israel, supporting Palestine. It's about the flag policy. This is the nucleus of this issue. Now,
that was part of my frustration, though, is because at that point I took the flag out of the equation. So now we're not talking about the flag policy.
And they still screwed you.
Now what we're talking about is a message of love and support for the Jewish community.
Right.
And for some reason, that had to be done with conditions. It couldn't just be a love it.
Oh.
I mean, if you said to me,
so what does that tell you? What does that tell you about the people that you, Rob, who I say, you are loyal to that town council to a fault, right?
A big fault.
And these are the people that just turned on you. So your loyalty means shit to Tracy Honan and what's her Flockhart and Dunson and all that. Rob, do you see that? I mean, this is what they did to you in public. They don't support you. But you, my friend, have gone on here. You've come on this show numerous times and defended them to a person. You said, those are my fellow town councilors. Those are the people. I support them. You've said that, and I've argued with you, but you stood your ground on that. And you say, I will support my fellow councilors. And what did they do to you, Rob? They're embarrassment. They're an embarrassment. They have no loyalty other than their personal agendas, and they have no loyalty to you as the person who stuck up for them numerous times.
Well, I'll tell you what. Robert Kaiser made a great point tonight, where he said, if it was any other group, like nobody would ever say, oh, what about, if we're talking about Black Lives Matter, nobody would ever say, what about white people? If we're talking about gay people, nobody would ever say straight people. We talk about Jews, and all of a sudden we have to include Islamophobia. I'll tell you right now, if somebody put a motion forward that said Islamophobia is wrong, I wouldn't say, well, you have to include Jews, and I would just say, yes, I agree.
They wouldn't say that. They would never say that, though. You're right. They wouldn't say that, though. If the shoe was on the other foot, they wouldn't say that. But when it's the Jewish, do you see it, people? Do you see it? And if you don't see it, it's because you don't want to see it. But it's as plain as my face on the screen. That's I know. But I'm telling you, if you don't see it, what's that, buddy?
I will tell you this, okay? And I don't want to get into the comment where you said, well, oh, some good came out of this because of the event the other day. I will say this. The positive about that is the council didn't have to speak because the community did come out more than I think they would have if that didn't happen the other day. And the community came out and said, we support the Jewish community, which I think meant probably the world to the members of the temple to have that kind of group down there. And it was a great event.
And I agree 100%. Again, I agree with you on since you've called in. I was ready for a good argument, but you talked me down and you convinced me, and I apologized again to you. But again, we're losing sight of the fact that this is about the flag policy. It's not about anything else. This flag request to be flown was a challenge on the flag policy. We have to stay focused on that. This, like I said earlier, there's a shell game going on here. We're going to distract you over here by saying, oh, support for the Israel. It's about the flag policy and the flawed flag policy that you voted for, Rob, that you voted for.
I did.
Because you didn't see it through. None of you saw it through. You thought me and Todd were just rambling on and making shit up and being anti this, istophobes. I call it istophobes, right? Me and Todd are istophobes, right? Everything ends in an ist or a phobe. We warned you.
I own my mistakes when I make mistakes, and I definitely do. And I'm not done. And I'm not done making mistakes. I'm going to make more. You know what I mean?
But this is a mistake that can be fixed.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, that flag policy that's being bantered about with one flag for every month, it's just another forgive my language, problem. It's just going
that's not a flag policy that we're going to fly. When I saw the clip of John Dunson saying, what about an Irish flag? That would be nice too. It's hard to watch that guy talk because he's the pseudo-intellectual guy. He's fake intellect, right? That tries to come across all educated and smooth, and he's just a babbling idiot. But none of that is going to solve anything because somebody's going to complain. Somebody's going to complain. Somebody's going to say, I don't like the Irish. I don't like the Irish. So I don't want that flag flown. And you're going to offend somebody. Somebody's going to. I kind of figured that. Well, I did have a problem with the Italian flag. I had a problem with the Italian flag, but I kept that to myself because of Todd.
Well, nobody's perfect, Scott. But
do you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying here?
I was the one who said, I think I said it to Robert. I think I was the one that he was talking about. That I said, there's no flag that somebody won't be offended by.
Exactly.
I mean, so what flag you hang, somebody's going to be offended.
And we just ran into it. We're running into it right now. It's a brick wall. And it's going to cost, I think it was Todd said, wasting a lot of time. Wasting a lot of time and a lot of BS on this when they have to admit they made a mistake. They have to. And the liberals on that board aren't going to do it though, on the town council. They will never say they made a mistake. They will stick to their guns. They will double down on it. But it's a mistake.
You tell Scott's not Italian because he spelled my name D-I instead of D-E.
I did that on purpose, all right? Because
it's Die Marco.
It's Die Marco. I did that on purpose. See? I have some power. I have some power. I can, look, just while you're there, all right. Do I separate the E and the M? Is it two?
No, it's one word.
One word.
Okay.
But the M's capitalized.
So let's see.
Right.
Let's get it right. Look at there you go, Rob. All right. See,
you don't want to
I'm
offend
not so
sister.
bad. I don't want to offend the Italians.
You don't want to offend the sister. She's the good one.
You don't want me to get my Italian up, Scott.
Touche, buddy.
Yeah, this council has been a cultural nightmare, and nothing's been done about it.
Yeah, well.
I'm so triggered.
Well, again, this is everyone's losing sight of the point of all this, and it's the flag policy. Stay focused on that and the problems that it's causing now, and it's not going to end Winthrop Town Council. This is not the last time this is going to happen, because something could happen in Ireland and the Irish community in Winthrop is going to say, we want to fly the Irish flag. Well, no, we can't do that. But you fly the pride flag. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you what, I will tell you this. We do have the Cultural Center in the E.B. Newton, okay? And I did hear that they were looking at putting something in the Cultural Center that detailed the history of the Jewish community within Winthrop. I think that's a great idea if you want to celebrate.
Well, it should be there because it's cultural. It's the Cultural Center. That should be put there anyways.
Right, but I mean, instead of a flag, I mean, the Cultural Center.
See what they're doing
for putting on events like that.
Yeah. So take the flags down. Take the flags down. Right. Put the regular flags up there, and then on the inside of the Cultural Center, you can have the history of Gay Pride Month, how it started, all the different incarnations of the flag.
Harvey Milk.
Yeah, you can have the Jewish history in Winthrop, the Irish. Put it all in there. Fill that place up. Make people. But the flag policy, no one will complain about that, Rob. Nobody would ever complain about that. As a matter of fact, it would be a plus that the Cultural Center is actually being used as a cultural center.
The reality is this, though, Scott. The bigger picture actually is it's really, yes, it's about the flag policy. It's about the fact that we shouldn't be having a flag policy. We should have like we
said,
agree.
Go back to the beginning.
Because we've got nothing but other work to do. The town council's job is not to make people feel comfortable and welcome and safe. That is public safety's job to do that. The council manages the budget, hires and fires, and manages the town manager, blah, blah, blah,
So
blah, blah.
maybe we should fly the pride flag in front of the police station and the fire station.
Well,
it's the public safety. They'll feel safe.
Right. They'll feel safe. Yeah. I mean, but that's the reality. Like our jobs as our town government's job is not to appease every different faction's ailments and grievances. That's the community's work to do. The town is to provide schools, trash, streets, roads, education, safety, whatever, not Band-Aids for your soul. That's not what we do.
Right.
So got to get out of that business.
Rob, was that you that commented, how do you call in?
Yes, it was.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have the phone number at the time.
Okay. You should have this number on speed dial, buddy. You notice how that's not even a thing anymore?
Don't flatter yourself too much, Scott. I gotta...
Hey, you've been...
Rob, you're the only guy I can get mad at, and then, I'm not mad at you anymore. I like you too much.
See, I told you.
Well, Todd, listen, I don't even want to play the rest of that video.
Rob finished it for us.
I don't think
you summed up the meeting. Look, here's the point.
Oh, okay.
The point is,
hold on.
The point is, and Rob was there for it. There were 6 people. Actually, 6 people that were visibly and verbally twisting themselves into pretzels to avoid giving support to the Jewish community in public that way. I don't know why. And I said from the jump, the first time I spoke about it, I'm not in their hearts. I'm not in their minds. I'm not going to call them anti-Semites, but they certainly don't leave us with many options as to how to define that behavior. It's hypocritical at best.
Right. Hey, Rob, I'm going to kick you off because I think Kathleen wants to call in. Oh,
bye, Rob.
He's gone.
I think he hung up on
you.
No,
I pressed the button. You there, Rob?
Yeah, I'm here still.
All right. Well, I'm kicking you off now.
All right, I'm gone.
All right, buddy.
See you, Rob.
I love to hate you, Rob. All right, let's put this up. Let's see.
She's beeping in.
No, that was him calling, going off. Let's see. So there's the number, 561-212-4915. Let's see. We'll give her about a minute to call in, see how this works out. But I can never stay mad at Rob for some reason. As soon as I talk to him, I'm like, oh, jeez, I can't be mad at him. I really can't. Oh, you're not. I kind of get where you would just. I get that. I know that sound. I know that. You're a better man than me. I think Kathleen.
Yep.
I got the number up. She said no. It's Kathleen. That's for the number. Let's see. See if she calls in. We give her a minute. But yeah, I watched enough of this, just passing through it to hear them all, scurrying like rats from a sinking ship, and they all want to. I don't need to hear Tracy own it. She's useless. She's gone. Anyways, like I said, that was the one thing we did accomplish. So you ran for town councilor. Oh, there we go. Let's see.
Oh, did you hang
No,
up?
I got her. Good evening, Kathleen.
Oh, hey guys.
How you doing?
Hi, Kathleen.
Oh, living the dream, my friends.
Nice.
So what's up?
Just living the dream. So, and I'm hoping I'm not going to lose you because I actually want to go on to Facebook to reference a post that was posted. Oh gosh, I don't know, a couple hours ago. I was at a track meet with my daughter, but I just happened to see it. And I think there's a lot of things that were really telling about it. So I apologize. Bear with me for a second. Oh my gosh, sorry.
No, that's no problem. Me and Todd decided this was going to be a long one tonight.
No, I just think it was really telling. And I don't want to be misquoted, so I'm going to find it exactly.
All right.
Oh my gosh, sorry.
By the way, we didn't touch on the fact that the Diversity Commission weighed in and they posted, but they never mentioned the Jewish community.
Hold on.
Oh, no, my friend. No. That's exactly what I'm addressing.
Oh, great.
So you
see, timing is everything.
Timing is everything.
So here it is right here.
All
this was, and again, I'm being factual, going to be, oddly enough, not Kathleen. I'll try to be non-emotional. So there was a post about 4 hours ago by Julia Praying Wallace.
Oh, boy.
Sorry, I don't know if it's Wallace.
Pringles Wallace. Just call it Pringles.
No, I'm just calling her Julia Wallace. So, and I think it's interesting because this statement was issued, I want to say about 2 weeks ago. So I'm not sure why she happened to post this evening on Winthrop Night Discussion Group. But so her direct post was the CDICR issued this statement following last week's, and she actually says anti-Semitic hate speech during the council meeting. And she, reposted, yes, it was December 6th, reposted the, Diversity Commission's, post.
Statement, yeah.
And what I found was really interesting. A couple of things is, one, she actually mentioned anti-Semitic hate in her post when she was sharing the commission's post. Yet the commission's post never mentioned specifically the actual issue at hand, which was the anti-Semitic hate that was shown by some nut job that called in.
Yeah.
So and again, I'm, as Todd knows, trying to stay away from local politics these days because I'm sorry, our town has in many ways just gone to the shitter.
Yeah, it's bottoming out.
But it is what it is. But what I found interesting was there was a gentleman, Henry Munson, interesting last name, that wrote, he was a commenter, and he wrote good, and then he put in quotes, the cowardice display should be, in quotes, a cowardly display. And Miss Walrus said, Henry Munson, what are you, some kind of epidemic, with a winky face emoji. Mr. Henry Munson responded back with a smiley face. So 2 things on that. One, I'm not sure how a winky face is appropriate.
Oh, it fits into that.
When you're talking about anti-Semitism, I'm not sure how that's appropriate.
Right.
2, not sure whoever this Henry Munson is, and again, interesting last name, with a smiley face is again remotely appropriate. And I found it interesting too, again, just kind of the exchange that these two people just happen to have. Winthrop needs to wake up.
Yeah. Well,
when it comes, Winthrop needs to wake up though, when it comes to people that are involved in our town that actually do have hate in their hearts and are here purely to divide.
Oh yeah,
and,
absolutely.
And I find this post again today. What are we like? Again, a week or 2 out from the Commission on Diversity's post
non-statement.
And again, this happened to be shared today. I think Ms. Walrus, her winky face, and whoever this Mr. Munson is, his laughy emoji is beyond inappropriate. And if people in this town do not realize that these things are calculated and that it's just...
when they do that, it lacks sincerity. They're not sincere about it. They're virtue signaling. They're doing it all.
You know what, though, honestly, Scott? I think it's beyond lacking sincerity. I actually think it's much worse than that.
Yeah.
This post and then the exchange with the poster and the comments.
Yep.
And then also, it's interesting if you look at who's liked and loved the post.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Some of
they're
people.
all part of the same cabal.
But it's just, it's so wrong. And I just hope people really start to wake up, because there is nothing funny about anti-Semitism.
No.
There is nothing funny about hatred. And I posted, on this, again, purposely ridiculous thread, the Commission on Diversity's response was grossly and purposely inadequate.
Yep.
It specifically did not mention anti-Semitism.
Yep.
It was specific. That was purposeful. No one can say that was, we used the wrong words. But it's just simply not true.
Right.
But you know what? Just people need to really wake up. It breaks my heart. It really actually does.
In the end, Kathleen,
people are actually believing some of this.
That commission, which gives it way too much authority sounding, is useless. They've been useless from the beginning. They're useless today. They serve zero purpose. Todd had a very good comment or post the other day about them. They fight amongst each other. They can never agree on anything. They need to just be disbanded, but they won't. They will keep those imbeciles together because it checks a block for the town in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Must have diversity. Check. Doesn't matter how useless they are. They're useful idiots, to use Todd's another one of Todd's phrases. See, I listen to you, Todd. I listen to you.
No, and again, I'll be honest with you, and this isn't like, anything specific. I'm not going to opine to any of that. Like, I just wanted to address this specific post.
All right.
Because I am just so tired of the hypocrisy and the holier than thou people that are saying that they are above things and that they are, they're the special people and they're the ones that are about love and inclusivity. But then when you look at some of these people, and again, let's not even go back, to Todd's campaign, because that's a whole nother level. But the fact is, what happened with Todd's campaign is it absolutely...
It brought out everything we knew about them.
It was a real light, but it disheartens me because when I see, again, people that are just putting themselves out there that are so great and so wonderful and, never do wrong. And then when I see laughing emojis and winky faces on
in the word anti-Semitism in the same comment, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
This about anti-Semitism, that to me is
serious issue.
It's abhorrent.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. It's actually beyond my comprehension. That would be like, I'm not going to go there. That could be just like other incidents that have, happened in town, with hate.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a laughy emoji about someone being shot. We're going to have a winky face about someone being shot.
Imagine if Todd or I did that. Oh Lord.
But it's just it's just outrageous.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go back and watch. I'm watching the Santa Claus too.
Very nice.
So I'm going to go back and watch that. And
all right.
But again,
yes.
I just needed to call in because I'm so tired of this bullshit.
I think a lot of people are. And
I'm tired of it.
But that's why Todd and I are here every week. At least there's a voice.
Well,
at least there's a voice.
The voice.
Yes, it's
All
a
right,
start. All right, Kathleen. Thank you very much. If we don't talk to you later, have a very Merry Christmas, which we know they hate that.
oh my God! Merry Christmas, guys.
All right, Kathleen. Thank you.
All right.
See you
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, this was a very interesting show. You're not even. What are you doing? You're not even paying attention.
Yeah, it was a very interesting show. No, I'm just
you were texting. I'm tired. What are you tired? Are you falling asleep over there?
No.
I'm only kidding.
No, I'm wide awake.
I got gas.
No, this kind of went
3 different directions.
Yeah, I went to a few. It was good though.
It was good.
It was good. I thought Robert was great. Robert's
yeah, we'll definitely have him on again.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah, look, I started off to think we're not going to get to the video, and now I'm in the end. I'm like, you know what?
Doesn't matter.
I just hope people watching this are sending messages to the council because there are even like I was talking to Father Walter today over coffee. There are a lot of people who just say just American, Massachusetts POW, but they don't articulate it beyond the person they're having coffee or talking to.
Yeah.
They need to get it to the council so that they don't think it's just me and you.
So who are they going to? Who's the council going to listen to? The lady, the Jewish lady that said we should just fly the American flag, which is all they need to fly, right? Which is, in other words, go back to the beginning. Don't fly any other flags, and there'll be no problems.
They're not. They're going to listen to themselves because, again, we were elected for representative government, and we're the smartest people in every room.
John Dodson is about the dumbest person in that room. I listen to him talk, people. If you can get through that guy and figure out the gibberish that he talks, then you're a better man than me, even if you're a woman.
It honestly, it's mind-numbing. I mean, I said it earlier. Elections got nasty. Elections aren't about. We could have a whole conversation about who should be allowed to vote, but because we allow so many people to vote, it's not about issues anymore. It's not.
Well,
elections are about personalities. It's really something else.
So
anyway.
We're coming up. Next week? Monday night, right?
Yep.
All right.
Next week.
So what's that? That's the 18th.
18th.
It's my birthday.
I'll try to remember that now. 55 again?
Yeah, I will kill you.
I know.
You're lucky you're in Winthrop. You're lucky in safe Winthrop.
Yeah, safe. I'm in my safe space.
Winthrop.
Especially you Floridians can't handle the cold.
Hey, I'm fine with that now.
Yeah, my toes are frozen, right?
Yeah. I don't think I have anything planned for my birthday night. My Dr. Vera's taking me to this place in West Palm. I forget the name of it. It's really ritzy, expensive hotel.
But the best for you.
That woman takes care of me, buddy.
Yeah,
She
I don't
hooks
you know,
me up.
listen. You're a lucky
Maybe
man.
next Monday night, Iron Man will be standing behind me. Finally,
All right, let's figure it out.
Life-size Iron Man. It's coming. It's coming.
It's on its way,
Yeah,
right?
it's already offloaded in Miami.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
So it'll be there
I
soon.
think he'll be here soon. Yeah, yeah. New addition to the studio.
Well, if you need to take your birthday off, I understand.
I'll let you know.
All
And
right.
it won't be 10 minutes before the show like you did with the video tonight. I'm not going to talk about it.
All right.
Your heart, you are just so bad at this. You're like, oh, he'll do it. He'll do it. I don't care.
I'm getting spoiled by you. You were getting aggressive. You spoiled me.
All right, buddy. Bring us out. Say what you got to say.
Yeah, right. Well, by the way, if this flag policy does not scream, pay attention to your local politics, I don't know what does.
Right.
All politics starts at the local level. Yet again, it's been proven. Please, if you like this, share it around. Get people involved. We need your help.
Stole my line again.
No, I did not.
I'm the one that says,
if you like it, share it.
if you like it, share it.
watching.
If you didn't like it, thanks for watching for an hour and 40. But you stole my if you like it, share it line.
Oh my goodness.
You can't have everything. Where would you put it? Don't still come up with your own line. You have your own line. No. See, now I'm all upset. I was upset at Rob, then I wasn't. Now I'm upset at you.
I'm upset.
Stole my line. Anyways, if you like it, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you like it, share it. If you didn't like it, well, thanks for watching for an hour and 42 minutes. It was a great show tonight, and we will be back next either Monday night or Tuesday night, one or the other. And have a great week. And Merry Christmas.
Yeah.